Traders, welcome back to another Relentless video. So today we're going to be talking about the 5 qualities of a successful trader. Number 1, consistency and discipline, right? Those two are pretty big. Anywhere you go in the community, you'll hear that from almost all the traders, right? Discipline and consistency and discipline. They're pretty big. How likely are you to be disciplined in the market, right? On a day-to-day basis, how likely are you to follow your rules? These are some of the things that even the best traders out there will have an issue with from time to time, and it's why we'll make mistakes here and there. As humans, we have emotions, and so into the market, when we're trading, we got to suppress those emotions. When we talk about fight or flight, cutting losses, those kinds of things, discipline is pretty big. The example I like to use is you're driving and there's just a stoplight coming up, right? Red means stop, yellow means slow down, green means go. How often do we see it every single day? People running red lights, speeding through the yellow, and even in the green light, sometimes people stopping in the middle of the intersection. So it's pretty crazy. There'll be these rules that you'll have. No matter the strategy you're trading, we all have rules. How can you do when you talk about following those rules? Can you do a good job day in, day out, following your rules and being consistent with that, right? And so consistency in itself, right? Being punctual, showing up on time every day, right? Having the necessary preparations done beforehand, right? So when we talk about studying and reviewing and, coming in prepared for the market, right? Your routine, waking up, and just preparing, having breakfast, coffee, whatever it might be, before coming into the market, making sure you're comfortable, right? So number 2, mastery and or proficiency of at least one strategy. Now, this is pretty big. A lot of beginner traders, when they come into the market, they sometimes are looking to trade multiple strategies in multiple subsectors of the market, whether options, futures and commodities. Maybe they're even swing trading, day trading, momentum. And so sometimes you want to narrow that down and just have a few stocks and a few strategies that you're looking at, right? And so when we talk about small caps, we know exactly what we're looking for. Low float momentum stocks, right? There's going to be a few people who are specialized in large caps. They might be trading a few stocks like Tesla, Facebook, Roku, AMC. And so having that specialty in one area, that concentration sometimes can help out with more consistency, right? Going back to that first topic that we covered. So having mastery of at least one strategy, for me, that is momentum stocks, low float stocks, high volume stocks, penny stocks, if you may say, that are moving up fast in a short time frame. I love trading bull flags, breakouts, red to green trades, support trades. That is where I have my concentration. Now, other people will be a little bit more versed, and there's nothing wrong with being versed. It's pretty good. Being versed will allow you to change, right? And we'll get into that topic next. So it's a good bridge right here. Number 3, the ability to adapt, right? The ability to adapt as the market is, going through its different cycles, right? We know it's not seasonal, it's more so cyclical. And so when we talk about one strategy slowing down, that definitely is something that happens in the market. And so you have to be willing to change, right? Be willing to change. What was working last month might not work this month or for the next 2-3 months, but it will come back around again. It's been that way for years and years and years. And so are you willing to change when your strategy is slowing down? Can you say, okay, you know what, let me ease off and either build towards a new strategy like we mentioned earlier, right? Whether you are specialized in large caps and low floats, right? Maybe you can trade some large caps in that time frame or something. And so being versed isn't a bad thing when we talk about the ability to change. So for those newer traders, if you're watching on, be careful about how you start off, right? Mastering one, moving on to the next, and keep adding on to the list is the way to go if you ask me, right? You don't want to learn everything at once. That makes it too difficult. But if you take it one at a time and you branch off from what you know and you add on to it, almost like mathematics, right? When we talk about algebra, and then you go into calculus and and so forth and so forth, math, you have that foundation, and then from there you build. You can add to it, you can add to it. But if you want to learn mathematics, chemistry, physics, and all of that at once, you might have a harder time, right? So having that foundation and building to become versed is the way to go. So the ability to adapt, the ability to change in the market, not knowing that one particular strategy might not work always, and so you can slow it down. For me, a good example is, hey, you're a NASCAR driver, you have your best lap time on a day where it's bright and sunny, the track is dry, but when the market slows down, it's almost as if it's a rainy season and the track is wet, there's a thunderstorm, it's a little foggy. Why try and push for that best lap time on a day like that? It's only going to cause a wreck, right? Maybe you might crash, graze the wall, and so you might have a big losing trade, or maybe even a blow up day. So slowing down when the market slows down, and also being able to be versed is pretty good when we talk about the ability to adapt. So number 4, this is pretty big: screen time and screen recording and studying, right? So screen time, let's talk about that first, right? This is just the amount of time that you'll put in towards your trading. So when we talk about, hey, consistency, showing up every day, they say it takes 10,000 hours to master a field, right? And so how many hours have you logged, right? Are you keeping up with that consistency, showing up every day? There's a few traders that will trade maybe today and might not trade for the next 5-6 days. And we're not talking about no trade days where we're keeping that good discipline. We're talking about being away from the market, doing other things. And so they're on and off, on and off. And it's much more difficult to get to get consistency. So you guys will see how these topics will overlap. Each number will overlap to the other. So screen time, right? We want to, of course, be there and gain experience over those weeks, months, and years. Screen recording is pretty big. It ties in with studying and also screen time, because when you rewatch your film, you can see exactly what you did wrong, where to improve. It gets you more experience with the charting and understanding how the market is moving on a different level, because now it's almost as if you're watching trading from the sidelines and rewatching rewatching how the events unfolded. You can see exactly what you need to work on. It's one of the best things for me, screen recording. So I would say check out OBS, right? That's what I use. OBS is free. It's pretty good, and that ties in with studying, right? For me, posting all my trades onto YouTube, I have that archive. I can go back 3 years ago, see days where I did really well, days where I made mistakes, and that will keep me fresh moving forward on how to avoid certain negative things, right? Bad habits or so. So number 5, last but not least, never giving up, right? Never giving up. From the moment you stop, that's the moment you lose. And you can say that an individual is now part of the statistic. That is that 90%, right? Because if you're still pushing, if you're still fighting, grinding it out, there's still that chance. There is still hope. And so, would you sacrifice 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to be able to make $2,000-$3,000 a day? Would you sacrifice 20 years to be able to make $5,000 a day? Not everybody would want to do that, right? And it's perfectly understandable, right? It's perfectly understandable. It's not for everyone. And for those of you who are looking to endure, looking to push forward, you might be in a dark place. Know that you just got to keep grinding. You got to dig deep. You got to fight. And you can't ever give up, man. You cannot ever give up. All of us, man, all of us traders will come from a place where we were in that, darker zone, where you probably had doubts, where, you're read every day consistently for weeks, even months, years. And so it only gets better, but you have to be proactive. You have to be proactive about improving. Can you learn from your mistakes? Can you put things in place to prevent you from making the same mistakes? Because that's what trading is. As humans, we have tendencies, habits, and so it's pretty big for us to improve and correct those mistakes in certain areas. So of course, if you did enjoy, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing if you are new to the channel. Check out part 2 to this video, which will be posted as well. Check that out. Check out part 2 if you want to stay tuned, guys. And once again, be sure to subscribe. It's been RT, and I am out of here.